Hey guys, welcome to another video, and today I'm putting together a container herb garden. Um, it's basically an arrangement I was going to make anyway, and there was no intention on filming it, so this is just a random decision to film it. I thought it would be an inspiration to some of you to put this together. Being Mother's Day, I am going to gift this. Can you see that basil leaf is so big? The nursery, the garden center is in a mess because this is actually handled by 5 people, and right now, since the situation we are in, we have nobody, and Ashish and me have been trying to maintain the garden, but it's all messy everywhere. Me making a selection of the basil. I am very choosy and picky when it comes to selecting plants, be it in containers for personal use or when I'm landscaping for clients, or even terrace gardening for clients, because I always handpick and select plants to give quite a bit of a finished look, a ready look, and that's what I'm aiming for even in this container today. I think I like this one because it has 3 different layers and will make the container look much fuller. There are some parts, of course, I will be cutting off and trimming off once the container is actually ready, and you'll see me doing that. Some planters are like this, 4 to 5 inches big. There are very few garden centers which will actually carry well-grown, well-established herbs, because they get sold off so fast. You have to have the holding space to have full grown, and then you have these 2x2s which are also healthy plant, and if you keep it for a little while, you will have quite a well-grown plant which will keep producing for you. However, I have selected the bigger one, and I'm already liking how this box is already looking. Yes, of course, there are a few yellow leaves, which is quite natural, and I will trim it off. Let's go get some mint. And look at the lemongrass that is growing, and it's so crazy. We make tea out of it every day almost. The mint, I would like to bring to your notice that we have 2 kind of varieties here. One is the spearmint, as you can see, the long leaves, and then oh my god, the smell here right now is so amazing and mesmerizing. This is the peppermint. If you look, they both have a very distinctive and very varied texture to the leaf and the look of it in the first place. And if you actually pinch off the leaf or squeeze a little bit, the fragrance that both of them carry is way different. And once you actually smell it, you will actually realize you have used products into which these different kind of mints are used. The plant is already looking good, and it looks so full and so beautiful. Let's go grab the spearmint as well. And I think I already like how the planter was looking. The spearmint is a trailing one here. You could trim it off and it's a little scraggly, I would say, but in this arrangement it's gonna look nice because it's gonna make the arrangement look a little well already grown. And look at how it's trailing from the box. I think I could gift it to someone just like as is where is, without even planting it together. This is how actually I gifted a box to my mother last week for her birthday. Here I'm grabbing a rosemary, which is from the collection, not from the nursery, but from our personal collection from the terrace. And it's a full grown plant, but you could see one side is quite cut, as we have cut from it and used it for cooking. But I am going to incorporate it into the arrangement today, and you will see. Here are the mini carnations, which I think everybody must be familiar with. It must be actually available at almost all garden centers, and they look so dead right now because we've actually cut this whole set of carnations back so that they can push for new growth. They have done blooming. These are the old blooms and some of the buds that were remaining. I should, however, put up a video as to how you should cut them back and what are the cares and maintenance for these carnations. However, right now I am using it in the herb arrangement because these carnations are actually edible flowers. Yes, what I said is flowers, and only the petals are edible. This is actually called the Dianthus caryophyllus, which is the botanical name of these mini carnations. Their petals are edible. You have to separate the petals from the calyx of the flower, and the bushy thick portion, the white portion at the base of the flower also is not edible. You have to pull each petal out, and only then it becomes edible. The foliage does have a green blue texture, which actually is very distinctly different, and that is what I'm actually going to show you here compared to the green. And it will look really pretty in the arrangement when it breaks all the green of the other herbs. And these blooms are so beautiful. I just simply love these double blooms. It looks like a watercolor painting. So gorgeous. And we have so many other pinks and which are very different from each other. This is another peach color, which is my most favorite. The blooms are smaller in size. They actually be so big because we have cut them back, and the plant is just in state of shock and pushing for new growth, and hence the smaller size and bloom. Let me show you quickly some other pinks that the nursery holds. However, in the meantime, this particular plant has a flavor. The petals have a flavor of cloves, sweet clove, and that's why it's used in a lot of different as condiments in different food preparations. This is another hot pink. If you see, the magenta is just a little out from the center, whereas compared to the first one that I took out, it completely comes out right to the end of the flower, giving it that beautiful edging, hot pink edging, which I really love. The strong smell of cloves and the color actually is therefore makes this petal therefore used in a lot of salad garnishes, fruit salad flavoring, cupcake decorations and cake decorations, and it's also a substitute for making syrup. It's a substitute for rose petals in syrups, and also used for making of beer. Anciently, it does have medical use, though now it's not used as much for that, but anciently it used to be used for reducing fever and some stomach problems and stuff. I will do a complete different video on what these carnations actually are. This is the magenta, which does not have any hot pink in it. It's a complete magenta. I don't think the camera is actually capturing the whole color, but this is something really to sit back and look at. They're very beautiful. The foliage is full, and I'm making my selection. Also, the pink is known to be a color. Each carnation flower actually has a meaning to its color, and the pink is known for the mother's undying love and also for gratitude, and that's why I'm going to use it in my arrangement today, as this is specially being made to give for Mother's Day. And wow, look at that. And here are the planters. I do not use such gaudy planters in my arrangements or in my landscapes or in my terrace gardens, but this is what the nursery is holding, as a lot of people do ask for these colored planters. No offense, that's what people like, and my choices are very different. These are very thin and narrow planters. Luckily this was lying around, and it's only about 6 inches in height, about 4 inches in width and 12 inches in length. But a 2x2 pots, the smaller ones that I showed you earlier, beautifully can actually hold a lot of herbs or plants in it. I will show you very soon when I start planting up that how many number of herbs actually go in it. It also comes with this tray. For each color you have a tray, and which will hold the remaining water. The pots, if you see, are not yet do not have a drainage hole. However, whenever planting herbs, you need to have a planter which does have drainage hole. I will surely punch a hole in before I start planting. And on the outer, I do not like to only show like a plastic pot when I'm gifting it to somebody. It has to be something unique, and I always end up buying these beautiful containers. This one is like a old farmhouse. This one has an old farmhouse look, the old worn out wood effect, which I use around the house for a lot of other things also, holding magazines, tissue rolls, and various other things, flower arrangements and stuff like this. Has been lying in the store right now. And this is the other herb kitchen garden. I don't know why it's written again and again, herbs garden, kitchen garden, but again, this is what was lying around, and this has been lying around for a very very long time. It's not a new planter. It has come lined with this plastic so that you could directly plant in it also, if you want, but I do not want to spoil this container by in case the water did run out or whatever. So I am gonna, you could use this planter directly without even putting a plantation in it, like how I had done the cardboard box earlier. You could directly keep your plants in it and gift it as is where is, or plant up in a plastic pot like this and place it right inside. It fits perfectly, so you could buy a wooden outer planter and then go looking for a pot that would sit inside it beautifully, and this makes it so perfect to actually plant up and gift it to someone. It will take care and would not leak out anywhere because the wooden planter does not have a drainage hole, and that is what you would want if you're keeping this somewhere in your kitchen or as a display somewhere around in the house. But it would need good amount of light for your herbs to grow. So let's get straight into planting. I'm going to use the plastic pot in the wooden planter like I mentioned. I have punched in the drain hole. Sorry, I forgot to show it, but yes, I have punched it in, and let's get straight into planting. I'm using the soil mix that the nursery holds, which is a potting mix that already has come in your mix in it. You would see occasionally I'm going to be mixing in the BioGrow, which is also a plant fertilizer for organic growing vegetables and herbs that you would actually use for consumption, and it's an organic food, plant food, which I will mix. You could actually have your soil and mix it in initially itself, make a mix and keep adding in, but I am here directly adding in as that's how I did it. And I have used the basil, which was a 2x2 planter compared to the first one that I had picked up. I used a mint also, which was in a 2x2 pot, but it was a much grown and a full looking mint. I love the way it's leaning back at the basil and the corner and filling up the corner of the pot. This is a parsley, which is in a 4-inch pot, and it's fully grown. As you saw, I roughed up the root ball a little as it was root bound. Here I'm planting up the rosemary, which was not much root bound and came out very easily. You shouldn't ever pull a plant out, hold it from the root base and then shake the pot or press the pot and let the whole soil come out. Exactly what I'm doing. This is the spearmint that I'm using. The earlier one that I planted was the peppermint. This is a spearmint, and it's a trailing kind. Sometimes your plants could shock a little bit next morning, but it's okay. It's very natural. It happens. This is the ajwain, and it is not an oregano as people normally confuse it with an oregano. It's not an oregano. It's an ajwain. Here I'm putting in the carnation. If you saw, the root ball was again quite root bound. I ruffled it up a little bit so that it makes it easier for it to grow and spread out in the pot. I'm just simply arranging them all together like an arrangement, cutting out any of the brown or yellow foliage, which is natural to a plant, and it keeps happening. Leaves grow old, new leaves come. I'm putting in extra soil wherever necessary and filling up and packing up the pot beautifully, quite tightly, and just arranging the arrangement in a way that it looks elegant, and I simply loved how it turned out, and I don't feel like gifting it, but yeah, that is what happens to be after I complete a lot of my projects. And I think it just looks beautiful. Yes, I did clean up that pot before I gifted it, but as I was losing light, I put the tray inside which came with the plastic pot so that it holds any excess water and I don't spoil my wooden planter, and look how beautiful it turned out. Doesn't it look like a planter that was well grown and well established and with somebody for many months and years? How beautiful. Let me show you a close-up look of the planter. All the herbs in it, I think we've used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 herbs and 1 edible flower. You can see Zizu in the background over there. Do not use the edible flower if this is not, don't take it buy from a nursery like this one and directly start to use it. It has to be organically grown, because the nurseries normally do spray a lot of pesticide, fungicide and fertilizers for having only blooms. This is not for eating purposes. I will also mention it to the person who I'm giving it to. And there's Zizu's coming to check out the arrangement. Of course, once it's fertigated or fertilized quite a few times by organic growth, you can use it later on. The basil looking lovely and shining, and the arrangement looking simply gorgeous. I love how it turned out and how full it's looking, and that's what actually excites me, the different heights and the play in the plant, different textures, different greens. Thank you so much for watching this video, and if you really liked what you saw, please do follow us on Instagram and Facebook, and do visit our garden center.